Since 2023, I've done over 100 professional birth chart readings, and I've consulted with over 300 clients in total within all of my offers as a professional astrologer. And I'm about to spill the tea for you what the successful business owners are doing differently from you. And these are things that you can implement today. And these are the type of things that you're not going to be learning from a traditional 5K course, because there is a clear difference between the silently successful business owners and someone, and maybe that's you, who's trying to get their business off the ground. And it took me over 3 years to learn these lessons, and I'm going to spill them to you right now. And no, this is not going to include a 5 a.m. morning routine with breath work and a cold plunge. Okay, first up, this is really, really important. You need to ask better questions. You're probably asking yourself, why isn't this working? Why is it so hard for me? When the successful business owners who are making consistent revenue, they are actually asking, how can I solve this problem? In other words, these business owners are solution oriented instead of problem oriented. And to put it another way, they have an internal locus of control, so they know that they are fully responsible for their reality instead of someone who is in victim mode and is asking, why is this happening to me? They would have an external locus of control. And this is very interesting. When I would tell a business owner based on their birth chart that, hey, you're going to have a challenging year with your health or with your family or with your home or with your finances, they would start looking for solutions right away. They would reach out to experts, they would hire professionals, they would look for guidance and help to solve those problems right when they arise. And instead of ruminating on an issue, they are proactively looking for solutions and hiring experts so that they don't have to spend any more time with that challenging issue than is necessary. A sip of coffee. Number 2, you need to make faster decisions. The most common question that a 6 or 7 figure entrepreneur would come to me with would be, what's next for me? I've done X, Y, and Z. I'm really successful. I know my shit. So what's next for me? And I would give them the timeline, the theme of the era that they're in, and they would be making moves the next day, whether that was writing a book or starting a new mastermind or taking their in-person business online. If you want to get out of the weeds of having a business, you need to make decisions a lot quicker. So instead of wondering, is it A or should I pick B? Go do A and then see what happens. Go do B and then see what happens, because a successful business owner essentially knows that you'll only get the answers in the action, in the momentum, not by sitting on your computer and journaling about it for the 100th time. And yes, I'm specifically calling out you guys, and me included, who might be like, oh, I'm just going to do one more tarot pull. Oh, I'm just going to plan this one more time. Or, oh, I'm going to talk about it with ChatGPT one more time. Go take action and you'll get all the answers that you're looking for. Next, what I learned is that you really need to know yourself. You need to know thyself. Each successful business owner knows what their zone of genius is. They know what they're here on earth for, what they are building. And when someone gives them advice, they immediately feel it in their gut if it's for them or not. Please put your hand up if you've ever been in a course or a mastermind and they're just telling you to do the same strategy. Well, what worked for one person is probably not going to work for you. So discernment is a highly, highly valuable business skill to have. Okay, on to the next one. This is a really interesting common thread that I found between the silently successful CEOs and business owners. You need to study marketing and sales like your life depends on it, because the life of your business does actually depend on it. You could be the most gifted coach, meditation teacher, yoga teacher, accountant in town, but if no one knows who you are and what you can do for them, they cannot hire you. And basically, the most successful business owners that I've talked to, they have mastered moving attention. They have mastered marketing. A lot of them had a marketing background, which was a really, really strong thing. So that's why I'm saying, if you have no clue about the psychology of marketing, how to move attention, how to get eyes on your work, you need to study it. And for that, you're in the right place, because I'm going to spill to you all of the secrets on how to move attention. I think founders that are struggling a lot with their business, they spend way too much time tweaking the product, tweaking the sales page, tweaking whatever, when a business owner that is already 10 steps ahead in terms of their revenue and income, they put the most viable product out there and then they iterate from there. All right, the next one is going to be a bit of a tough love. You need to stop making excuses for your circumstances. Here's what you need to know. The person you look up to, the coach, the business owner, the CEO, they're not any different from you as a human. They have shit happen in their life. They have their pets die. They have family crises. They have financial issues too. Like, they have seen it all. They just don't let it affect them. They just do not let themselves be affected by how they show up in their business. So whether they've had a big client default on their payment, whether they've had their website crash and the developer is nowhere to be found, whether they had a big argument before a huge client call, they're just going to take 3 deep breaths and then show up in the best way that they can. And rather than making your circumstances as an excuse, like let's say you're a mother, or let's say you have a busy life, or let's say you want to be a content creator and you have a 9 to 5, rather than allowing your circumstances be an excuse, can you let them be a reason why you actually succeed? So for example, I never use my children as an excuse. They're rather gonna be the fire and the passion under my butt. All right, for the love of God, drop the perfectionism. Telling yourself that I'm just a perfectionist or I need to get this right, you're setting yourself up for failure, because the standard for something perfect, it keeps shifting over and over again. So you're basically just trapping yourself in this bottomless pit of trying to achieve something that does not exist, or you necessarily don't even know what it is. And every silently successful business owner knows this. Post the draft, send the email, publish the product, put yourself out there. That is truly the only key to success. And finally, this is the most important lesson that I learned. Stay curious about the customer. Every successful business starts with a passion that you have, something that you're naturally really interested or good at, and you being able to see a gap in the market, somewhere where people are not being served, to the best possible capacity. And with time and effort and practice, it all grows into a bigger business. But this is how all the businesses have started. Apple, Nike, and so on and so forth. For example, Apple, we know that Steve Jobs wanted the iPhone to be a phone that an 80-year-old could pick up and use, or a 5-year-old could pick up and use. He wanted it to be intuitive, not something complicated that you have to take a tutorial to figure out. He saw the gap in the market. So at the core of everything, being an entrepreneur, it's not about following the latest trends. It's not about trying to figure out weird sales tactics or manipulate people to buy. At the core of it, it's simply, how can I help? The most successful business owners, they're good at listening and even better at asking questions. They are in the DMs. They are in their physical locations. If you have a brick and mortar, they're asking questions. So go have conversations with your audience. And I know that it can feel awkward to ask your audience questions in the DMs. Or if you have a physical business, let's say you have a product-based business, send one of your customers an email. Tell them, hey, I would love to invite you for a 30-minute call to talk about this product. Tell me everything that you thought about it, your insights, and if there's any feedback that you love. It does not have to be weird, but this is truly the key part to having a successful business. You have to stay curious about the people that are buying your product, not the opinions of your family, of your partner, of Aunt Karen down the road, and so on and so forth. You have to stay curious about the people who are actually buying and using and interested in your product. And this is something that you can do today. Let's say you own a yoga studio. Go in there, be with the people, and ask someone, how did you find the class? If someone took your course, pull them aside, have a conversation with them, and ask them, how did you find the course? Or reach out to someone who bought your product and see if you could have a virtual Zoom coffee chat with them. Because the next milestone of your business is not to be found in some shiny strategy or in a 100 days to 100K course. It is to be found in consistency, determination, and persistence. And they don't say it for nothing that the customer is always right. You have to be curious about the people who are interested in and using your services and products, because they're essentially the ones who vote with their money. So that's it. It's nothing complicated. It's nothing that you probably don't already know, but these are the consistent patterns that I see in the charts of scaling founders, CEOs, people who own 7-figure revenue businesses. These founders, they're not focusing on the same things as you. And this is how you can create sustainable success for yourself.